2. Welcome home. We are WNST. Towson, Baltimore. Baltimore Positive. We are positively at Cooper's North right now. We're up here in beautiful Mays Chapel on a sunny summer day. We're going to be at Cooper's South. That's Fells Point next Friday. Also going to be at State Fair on Thursday in Catonsville before the Orioles game. And then next Wednesday, we're going to be with Marcella over at Coco's Pub in beautiful Laurelville. We'll have the scratch-offs in the Maryland Lottery, a Pac-Man scratch-offs today. By next week, I might be up to the Lucky Sevens. Big appreciation to our friends at the Maryland Lottery. Poor John Martin giving all those home run riches away because the Orioles are slugging them out. Also, our friends at Liberty Pure Solutions, keeping our water clean and pure and fresh. Liberty Pure Solutions. Check them out online, as well as Jiffy Lube Multi-Care. We come together today. We've been talking for a little bit here, and if you hear our segments on AM 1570 in an order or out of order, a lot about Maryland Fleet Week and the flyover presented by Northrop Grumman. We're going to be all over the city, and I am blessed to have the captain and the what is the official founder? What are you? A Fleet Week?
Fleet Week
director
right now, yeah.
Director, not a captain. That sounds like captain of a ship or captain of a flight. The director of Fleet Week. Well, first off, my wife's apologized for not being here because she wanted to meet you because Fleet Week was one of our favorite things living downtown. We lived in the 23rd floor of Harbor Court. And when we first moved downtown, we thought, fireworks, we'll have everybody up and look out. It's better from the ground. And then we thought, Fleet Week, well, IRL, it's better from So all of these things we thought, we're going to have the penthouse in the sky like the Jeffersons. Fleet Week is not something, you got to get out for Fleet Week. You got to get outside, see these planes go by. They move too fast. But this was something my wife and I always circled, and it's next weekend, and it's back. And more than that, I wondered what the heck happened to it. So Chris Rowsom is here, not Rowsom, even though it's spelled like Brian Rowsom, who's no stranger to our airways. It is a pleasure to have you on. Give me the whole lowdown, man.
Thanks very much. Yeah, we're really excited to bring Fleet Week back to Baltimore. Our last one was in 2022, and it's going to be really, really exciting. We got our welcome ceremony starting off on Wednesday at 4 o'clock at the Harbor Place Amphitheater, where we'll have dignitaries speaking. That's when we'll be welcoming the U.S. Navy to Baltimore. We're welcoming the 3 big
Bring them
ships.
up from Annapolis.
That's right. Well, we've got a YP, one of their training boats coming up from Annapolis, as well as the 3 big ships. We've got a Coast Guard ship in Fells Point. And we got Army Corps of Engineers vessels. And one really cool thing that doesn't happen very often is that the hometown ships of historic ships in Baltimore, Constellation, the submarine Torsk, the light ship Chesapeake, the Coast Guard cutter 37, and the 7-foot Knoll Lighthouse will all be open free for admission, just like all the other ships.
Getting on and off of these boats is the thing I would say to my wife. We would see these gigantic Argentinian, Brazilian, Dutch, just these huge boats roll into the harbor, and you forget how deep the water is, right? How unique our harbor is. And I guess the reminder was when the bridge went down, right? So I would think that morning when we lost the bridge, I'll let you speak to that you thought, we're not going to be able to get boats in here, right? This had to have been a little bit in jeopardy, at least, maybe not the sky part of it, but the sail part of it and the water part of this. I would think the last 90 days have been as busy for you as they've been for Governor Moore and everybody else, right?
Well, when it happened, of course, first of all, it was, absolutely unbelievable.
Unthinkable.
That anything like that could happen. And then the next thing on my mind, well, of course, we're hoping that, that people were okay. Obviously, we lost 6 people, and our hearts go out to the families of those folks. But then, we then started to think about it more. Okay, how is this going to affect our event? And for the past, since it started or since it happened, we've been in direct contact with the Unified Command, Coast Guard, and all the other agencies that have been working to clear the channel, and so.
You're watching that daily, right?
Yeah,
literally.
basically, and they assured us pretty early on that we should be able to put on the event. So we kept basically planning as usual. And
you have the Army Corps engineers involved in this thing, right? They were instrumental,
front
right?
line and center. There they are, and so it's been they're all great people. We really enjoyed working with them. We still are, right through Fleet Week. We're working with the Navy, with the Coast Guard, with the Army Corps. All those folks have been, front line right out there at the bridge. So it's it's, having Fleet Week there is coming up is actually a testament to their determination to get that clear.
Well, look, if you were Roger Goodell and you were the commissioner of the NFL here, and I said to you, how did the Super Bowl start? And you would say, well, there were leagues. So how did Fleet Week start? And listen, anytime you're from here, my wife's from New Hampshire, and her dad fought in Vietnam. And he came down here a couple of years ago, and there was something going on about the Battle of North Point. Mm-hmm. It may have been Celebration. It probably was Celebration. Mm-hmm. And he went on a walk, and the next thing you know, he called me, and I said, where are – he's not from around here. He said, I'm in North Point Village. And I'm like, you walk from downtown to North Point Village? Ed Hale's down there with him, and they were down at Sparrows Point, Battle Grove. And the war part of the trail of the – Civil War here of all, 1812, everything with the Fort McHenry and the Star Spangled Banner. When you're from this part of the world, it's sort of like crabs. You think you have them everywhere. You think, well, there's Fleet Weeks everywhere. Well, we don't have a Navy 40 miles away, everywhere with ships that can bring ships in here. We get Army-Navy games here. We have the Star Spangled Banner. All of that patriotism and flying and boats and Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, it's we're used to it, but I feel like Fleet Week was happening in 1776 here, although I know it wasn't. But it feels like it's been going on all of my adulthood. But how long has it been going on?
So the first official Fleet Week was 2016. But in 2012 and 2014, we had Navy ships in here in conjunction with the commemorations of the War of 1812. So, but the first real Navy celebration.
Sure.
Right. And so
that inspired the modern Fleet Week then. Mm-hmm. So I'm not mistaken in saying, because I love Celebration, and my wife got cancer after that. We won the Super Bowl. Crazy things were going on about that time. Yeah. But I remember Celebration, and we went down to watch it at a friend's at Harbor View, which was further south down in toward Locust Point. And I don't think the towers were even built there. Maybe they were just coming online, the Silo Point. But we watched all of it. And we lived in a pretty good spot, but we were at the harbor more pinched in. And I saw Celebration. I thought it was maybe the greatest thing I ever saw the city do at that time. And I said, why don't they do this every year? Because we live at the harbor. Let's do this every year. Let's make this. Yeah. And Light City, and I talked about that, just brilliant. And even, Patrick's Oyster Festivals and Fells Point Festival, anything that brings people together. But Fleet Week was inspired by Celebration then, really.
Yeah, I'd definitely say it was. It was sort of a continuation of those two events.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again. And the Navy loves to come to town. We love it when the Navy comes to town. I will say, too, I'm a big Baltimore booster. The Inner Harbor, the waterfront, you mentioned Fells Point and, Fort McHenry and all that. The waterfront in Baltimore is so accessible to the public.
It's an open invitation.
It's an open invitation to come down and enjoy the waterfront, enjoy the Inner Harbor, Harbor East, Fells Point, Locust Point.
Can I swim in it?
You can, apparently.
I hear you can.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, wait, but and as much as we're tongue-in-cheek with all of this about swimming, and there's a line of people waiting to get in, my wife is a SUP paddleboarder, and she went out with Jesse a couple summers ago. I mean, she's out paddleboarding, and there's the domino sign behind her and whatnot. The events that we can use the water for and the amount of time a couple years ago, how do you make this better every couple of years, right? I mean, because I've seen the Blue Angels fly. We've seen all of this stuff happen. This thing's more unique, I think, because it's not Blue Angels this year. It's going to be series of different kinds of planes flying around and different flying objects, quite frankly, right?
Yes, we'll have a number of different aircraft coming over. The star of the show is the Marine Corps F-35B demonstration team, and that's a jet that actually does like vertical takeoff, can hover. And that has been, and we're able to do that right over the Inner Harbor, as opposed
like
to
a drone.
Sort of. Although there's a pilot.
Okay.
But yes, sort
there's
of like a drone
on there. Yes.
And so that jet will be coming over. The purpose of the flyover was to bring more aircraft to where more people were. Where more people will be.
Okay.
So we used to have an air show out at Fort McHenry, which is great, but very difficult to get to. And and it was.
But
and
in
it was
the
difficult
Midwest,
to see.
they do these things in strips out in the middle of fields and stuff.
They do.
We have a better environment to do that here.
So,
right?
so the flyover actually is bringing all the aircraft in over the Inner Harbor. It's not an air show, but it's demonstrations of different aircraft. We'll have a number of helicopter demonstrations, some actual formations. One of the cool planes that we've got coming over is a World War II era B-25 bomber as well.
Well, I was telling Dorothy earlier, years ago, my wife and I got a media junket invitation from somebody like Dorothy to go down to Martin Marietta and fly on the Memphis Belle or the Belle of Memphis. You familiar with this?
Very similar. Very similar.
I got on that plane. My wife got on it. She had a good time. I was traumatized. You know what I mean? Because they're loud. They're I mean, it was really something. I don't even know how to express. I'm a talker, and I'm like, it's one of those things you have to really experience to get on one of those. And my father made those back in the 40s. My father came to Baltimore from Scranton and Martin Marietta during the war in the mid 40s to work on those and they're the same aircraft, right? Literally.
Yep.
Not replicas, not these are those.
This one in particular is coming from the Delaware Aviation Museum. And you can
80 years later, they fly.
Yeah, and you can actually fly on it too. They'll be.
Well, they roped us in with these, these big canvas, and I was strapped in, and nothing comfortable about it. Not. I mean, literally, the rivets were.
Hopefully not shaking.
They were moving a little bit, at least to my eyes. I don't know. Chris Rowsom is here. He is the director of Fleet Week. And Fleet Week, Maryland Fleet Week in the flyover is next weekend, all weekend long. It is the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, the weekend of that. We're going to be on Wednesday, we're going to be over at Coco's Pub. And on Friday, we're going to be at Cooper's down in Fells Point. We're at Cooper's North right now, up here in Timonium Mays Chapel, where they have all the music on the weekends. We're going to be down on the Cobblestone. This is going on at the Inner Harbor, where we lived, and I was very familiar with it. Fells Point now a part of this, and tent, music. We were talking about all the things going to be going on in the square there, as well as the aforementioned, right here in the county, Martin State Airport. There's I would think a lot of planes on the ground over there that you can take a look at. Okay, that's more what you do with the boats at the harbor. If you want to see the planes, you go to the airport to do that, right?
Right. That's exactly right. There'll be a number of planes on what we call static display. So that's basically
you don't
planes
get up
that
and
are there
rumble around. Okay.
so that they're and people can see those. And it's also and most everything that is flying, that is doing the flyovers, is going to be stationed at Martin State and taking off and landing there. So there'll be that activity.
There'll be a little rumble going on over there.
Yeah, like the B-25 will be taken off, the F-35 will be taken off, and so that'll be pretty cool. And that's Saturday and Sunday, 9 to 4.
So food, drinks, family, bring your kids, come on down. Weather's going to be perfect, right?
Weather is looking really good.
All right. I like to hear that a week out on this. So 3 key locations for all this. But you have STEM activities here, and I see that. And I want to give a shout-out to Ed Mullen, my buddy, who's looking for the best cold cut in town. Don't ask me why. He was after crab cakes before, and he's been on the show. But anytime I see STEM and I see young people, and I think, how does that plane fly? How does that boat work? This is where the age of wonder kind of kicks in for people to say, oh, that's a science track. That's a math track. We need to understand these things. And I talk to James Bond about this at Living Classrooms all the time with boats and educating young people. There's a whole educational part of this. If you bring your kids down, it's not just wow, it's sort of how, right? Literally.
Exactly. And so on Pier 1, right next to USS Constellation, we will have the stem to stern tent there. So we'll have a number.
That's right at the Inner Harbor.
Right at the Inner Harbor.
As you know, right in front of both pavilions, but literally more on the Pratt Street side.
Right next to USS Constellation. We've got a number of exhibitors there. Including Living Classrooms.
James still doing sleepovers down there on those boats?
We certainly are.
See that? I know about these things.
Yeah. So Living Classrooms will be there. We'll also have Chesapeake Bay Foundation there doing oyster demonstrations. Federal Aviation Administration is going to be there if you want to learn about flying planes and how they do what they do. National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, those are the folks that do all the oceanographic surveying and water quality testing and all sorts of stuff. NOAA does amazing things.
Accessible science,
And
for
it's
folks
so
here.
cool. You know, I mean, if I was 16 years old right now, I'd be and I wanted to go to sea and do stuff on the water. NOAA is the group that I would be looking to enlist with, if you will. We've got a couple of groups there who are with cyber activity, doing cyber in the cyber skills. Just learning about cyber and how we deal with that in today's day and age.
There's no question about that.
So that's kind of cool. And we'll have a couple. The Navy's going to be there as well with some of their STEM demonstrations. So it's going to be a lot of different things there in the tent. And the idea is to inspire and challenge young people to get interested and explore careers in the tech sector, whether it be in the military or on the civilian side. There's going to be something there for everybody, and so we're really looking forward to that. That's something very new to Fleet Week.
MDFleetweek.com is the way to get that. There's an app involved in this. If you're going downtown, everything's free.
Everything's
free. I mean, I'm get behind that.
Yep.
This family-friendly week-long event honors the dedication of service members who defend our freedoms at sea and in the air, both past and present. It offers a chance for the public to board contemporary naval ships to see sailors work up close. My wife loved doing that. And you know what I always love when the Brazilian ships would come in, we go down and get their cocktails. Yeah. There would always be signs at the harbor we lived there that the boats were available. These boats are they're goodwill ships. I mean, every one of them, and these are all domestic ships, right?
Yes. This time around, it's all US
all American.
Ship.
All right, well, you got some patriotism here. Offers a chance for the public to board contemporary naval ships to see sailors work up close and to explore historic vessels, providing a window into naval life across history. You can also go down to Martin State Airport if you're out here in the county in Middle River and be a part of that. Vintage, modern, military, and civilian aircraft can be flying over from 11 to 4. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you're going to see it, you're going to feel it, you're going to hear it. You don't have to just be down there. These planes are taking off from all sorts of places. Anywhere east and north of the city, you'll see these planes, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's definitely a flight pattern, coming in from probably, right up the Patapsco River, kind of over Fort McHenry and then over the Inner Harbor. But yeah, if you're
you
anywhere
see
in
it
that
on
vicinity,
Friday,
you'll
come see it on Saturday and be a part of it. Come on down to Fells Point.
Yep.
So the genesis of putting this together and how many moving parts there are and trying to get airtime on radio and video, all this stuff, that so much of it is business. And Patrick called me about 2 months ago and said, they're doing Fleet Week. We're going to do a crab cake thing. Fells Point's embracing this. Fells Point wants in on this. Originally, Fells Point wasn't a part of this, right? And the early part to be a staging area, it was more of a harbor event, right?
Yeah, it was definitely more of an Inner Harbor and North Locust Point type of thing out at Fort McHenry. But we've always had ships at Fells Point. And so we extended that offer to say, hey, you guys want to get involved, and they embraced it, and we're really excited.
Well, these planes are coming over Fells Point, too.
Yeah,
They're coming over
you'd definitely be able to see them.
Everywhere.
From the Broadway Pier, you'd definitely be able to see planes fly by.
How many Fleet Weeks are there? Would they do these type of things? I see you slipped this in. This is what the smart guys do. It's not an air show. And I'm like, I didn't even know that I don't know what the difference is. What would an air show be that would be different? And we're not the only ones that have Fleet Week. There's
Correct.
Fleet Weeks in a lot of places. Is it a brand? I want to understand it better.
So Fleet Week is actually part of, to be technical about it, is Chief of Naval Operations Outreach. It's basically recruitment. And it's also a liberty opportunity for the sailors that are on the ships that are visiting. So ship comes into town. We have folks that, obviously the public is welcomed on board. We hope that, or the Navy hopes that they'll sort of inspire some kids to
and they're also they walk around in goodwill ambassadors in their whites,
and then,
of course,
and
right?
then the Navy is
my wife wants a picture
town
with the handsome guys, right?
Yeah,
Always, right?
There you go. So there are a number of Fleet Weeks around the country, but not as many. There are Navy Weeks oftentimes, but Fleet Weeks.
I see people on my Facebook who are like San Diego, or there's some other place where they have these in Florida and different places.
Seattle, right? Fort Lauderdale, in New York, it's every Memorial Day weekend.
There you go. All right.
So and we're the Navy likes having the Fleet Weeks here in Baltimore. We're really close to Washington.
Sure.
So it's sort of easy for folks, the top brass who are down like in the Pentagon or something like that to get up here to enjoy the ships and enjoy the Inner
Annapolis
Harbor.
doesn't suck either.
And Annapolis, that's right. That's right.
Oh, they do a little Fleet Week down there too. They do a flyover down there once in a while, don't they?
During the commissioning weekend, when all the midshipmen are graduating, yeah.
All right. See, I watch the news from time to time. Chris Rowsom is here. Never be confused with Brian Rowsom, my basketball buddy. He is the director of Fleet Weeks, Maryland Fleet Week and Flyover, presented by Northrop Grumman. They're local as well. June 12th to the 18th. They call it a week-long celebration. Really kind of kicks in Wednesday and Thursday. And by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we will have a full noise in the skies here next weekend. Orioles are home next weekend, too, with the Phillies. We usually do the show at Fadley's on Fridays when the Orioles are home, but we've moved it next week. We're going to be at Cooper's in Fells Point. We'll be back at Fadley's in a month. We're waiting for the Yankees to come to town, waiting for the big shots to come down in July. We'll be back down at Fadley's. We're going to be at State Fair in Catonsville on Thursday morning before the Orioles take on the Blue Jays. We're going to be at Coco's next Wednesday. We're going to be at Cooper's South or Fells Point next Friday doing the show down there, eating some more gumbo. And then we're going to be at Costas on the 20th and at Pappas in Parkville on the 25th. I want to wish you luck with this. I mean, hold on, check the app here. Get the weather app. Did we go 10 days out? Let me get the 10-day forecast here. I'm no Norm Lewis or Marty Bass or Bob Turk, but says 83 and sunny next Thursday is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's
perfect.
Supposed to be,
You ordered that, right?
I did. I ordered it. Yep.
What would happen
directly.
if the weather goes bad? You move it a day or something?
No. It's rain or shine.
All right.
It is rain or shine.
Well, right now we're going to shine. Thanks for coming by Cooper's North. Appreciate you. Chris Rowsom. Anything we didn't know about this one? It's over with, but the next one is 26 happening for sure? Or do
26,
we not know that?
Baltimore is right now part of a 5-city consortium of cities that are putting together the America 250, Sail 250 Tall Ships event.
I heard a lot of that's going to be more like a celebration, right?
That would be more like a celebration, yes. And the planning has started already. And
is that a 4th of July thing?
It will be just before. Baltimore is the port the weekend before 4th of July, and then New York gets the 4th of July.
It's still better here.
It is better here. Of course it is.
I had a pretty good time in New York last weekend. Big appreciation to everybody here. Samantha, thank you for making the show great today. My thanks to Dorothy Fuchs as well from A Purple Dot. Patrick Russell was here. His daughter Kylie came by and talked about mental health. Terry talked about cancer survival. Did I forget anything? I know I forgot somebody around here. I thanked Samantha earlier as well. We're going to sign off here from Cooper's North. We're going to get back to our regularly scheduled programming. Orioles on the road in the AL East all week long. Luke is out at training camp. We have OTAs this week. We have mandatories next week. Lots of Lamar Jackson stuff. I've been sitting here in Cooper's. I saw all the TV shows are talking about Lamar Jackson. So we must be pretty good around here. I am Nestor, signing off from Cooper's North. My big thanks to our friends at the Maryland Lottery in conjunction with Liberty Pure Solutions. Keep my water clean and Jiffy Lube Multi-Care. Go get your oil change. You can get down to Fleet Week next week. Signing off from Cooper's North, I'm Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore